Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand and you have been watching my videos on various topics of geography on my channel. So if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and in today's session on climatology, we are going to talk about air fronts. So what are these air fronts? Is there a war between two air? So let's understand these air fronts, their concepts, their details, but before we go ahead, please like and subscribe and do share the videos with others as well. So now in the previous lecture, as we were talking about air masses, there is something which is important and related to what we have learned is air and its air front. So what is this front all about? This is basically meaning what? A front is what? Which you are facing. If I am facing you, this is my front, isn't it? This is my that side which is in the interaction with something else coming from the other side. So this is what a front is. For example, the war front where armies meet, right? That is also a front. Cold front, warm front, that is an air front because of the temperature variation, as we know. So let's discuss this concept of air fronts and understand how it is important in terms of understanding mixing of different kinds of air and also formation of cyclones and anticyclones. So understanding the front formation and types of front is important to understand what? The formation of mid-latitude cyclones. Now you will have a question, why only mid-latitude question it is important? Because remember, mid-latitude is where the Ferrel cell is, right? The Hadley cell, Ferrel cell and polar cell. Now this is the cell which is mid-latitude cell, which is actually on the fronts of these two types of places, right? So it has two kinds of front. One is the warm and one is kind of cold. So here warm is going to the colder side, so W and C is meeting here. This particular wind which is coming here is cold and this is warm, right? So again WC is happening. So warm and cold are actually interacting. This is what is happening here in the mixing area, which is mid-latitude area, and that is why the front creation, formation and its dissipation means it is created, then it becomes stronger, then again it goes back. So this is a cycle of front that keeps happening, right? So this has a latitudinal zone which is largely mid-latitude area, right? From largely the 35-40 degrees to 60 degrees. This is the zone which is mid-latitude zone where you have extra tropical cyclones formation happening or temperate cyclones formation happening. So in details when we discuss temperate cyclone, there also this concept is going to help us in future. So in today's session, let's understand the details about these formation of these air fronts. So fronts are typically features of mid-latitudes weather, as we know, temperate region, that is about 30 to 65, right? So roughly maximum majority what you see is largely everywhere it is written 40 to 60 degrees. That is a basic average or approximation. So this area is largely subtropical, right? Beyond the tropics and before the poles. So this is that area. They are uncommon, that is unusual in tropic and polar region. Now remember, these frontal zones, front formations are not usual in tropic and polar region. Because why? Because they have homogeneous nature. So there is largely warm areas in the tropical. Only it is at the boundary of the tropical where it is meeting the subtropical. There it is there, right? The front is there. So when you have similar homogeneous nature, there will not be much of front formation, right? Unless there is a climatic anomaly. So that is important. So tropical and polar regions do not have much of front. That is why it is uncommon, unusual. But front is a three-dimensional boundary zone. Now here is the catch. It is a three-dimensional boundary zone. Basically means what? It is a boundary zone which is three-dimensional, which has a length, which has a width, which also has a height, right? That is why it is 3D. So that is important. So it will also have not just horizontal expanse, but also altitudinal expanse as well. So boundary zone formed between two converging air masses. Now here is the catch, that in mid-latitude what happens? Two different nature of air collides or converge. That is why the front is formed with different physical properties. So the nature of these air that meet in this particular zone, they have different nature. Remember, they have different temperatures, they have different humidity, they have different density. So these are all the physical properties which we talk about. So these air masses that converge have different physical properties. That is why it is called a front. When different people meet, when different enemies meet, they meet at the front. So that is something equally related to that. So let's talk about the process of front formation, which is also called frontogenesis. So the word here is front and genesis. Genesis means origin. So when I say origin, what does it mean? It is the portion of that particular air where a front is actually formed or originated. That is important. So the process of formation of a front is known as frontogenesis. Simple way, front and genesis. So basically it is like what, as I say always, it is like a war between two air masses, right? That is important. And again, after the war is over, it is now dissipated. Now there is a peace condition. So this war and peace keeps happening throughout the year. That is important to understand. So dissipation is when now there is a peace protocol. There is no war. So dissipation of a front is known as frontolysis. So frontolysis when you say, or frontolysis when you say, what is it? It is now going away. It is breaking. So one is making, the making is frontogenesis and the breaking is frontolysis. So remember, this lysis word basically means breaking into smaller parts again. So one of the air masses win against the other. So that is when they again dominate, they go away. That is what happens. So what is this frontogenesis? It basically involves what? The convergence factor, when two air masses are converging, warm and cold. This is the basic idea. So two distinct air masses having this frontogenesis is basically when they are converging, and frontolysis involves what? Overriding. Now remember, one meets the other and one overrides the other. When one overrides, it is winning over the other. This is something like that. So this is called frontolysis. So it is breaking away from this side, right? It is going away. That is what is called frontolysis. So frontogenesis and frontolysis put together is what we learn in the front formation. That is important. Now in this image also you can see what is happening. Warm air meeting cold air. So warm air has this tendency to automatically rise up and cold air is denser. So cold air is going down. Right? This keeps happening. So if warm air is coming from here, cold air is coming, warm air will go up, cold air will go down. This keeps happening, right? So this is what is important in terms of what we understand as frontogenesis or frontolysis. Now, it is important to understand that we always have this factor that is the motion of the earth, that is Coriolis force. So obviously there will be a change in directions differently in different hemisphere. So what happens in northern hemisphere? What happens? Frontogenesis, which is convergence, happens anti-clockwise direction. Now here is the catch. In northern hemisphere, it is anti-clockwise, which is largely what? This motion, anti-clockwise, right? And clockwise is just opposite in the southern hemisphere automatically, that we know. And why it is? Because of the motion, Coriolis effect, right? That we have learned several times. So mid-latitude cyclones or temperate cyclones or extratropical cyclones, as we say by these three names, remember these three names of the same cyclone, right? Occur due to what? This process which we say is frontogenesis, because here the fronts meet, cold air meets warm air. And that is where this kind of cyclone is generated. And remember, cyclone's direction would be what? Anti-clockwise direction of the cyclone in northern hemisphere, and clockwise direction will be there in the southern hemisphere. That is important to remember. Now, the classification of the fronts is important to understand. So based on frontogenesis and associated weather, the fronts can be studied under the following types. So this is there on your screen. Can you see? One is simply cold front. The other is simply warm front. Then the other is stationary front. What you see? There is this warm, then you have cold, then you have warm, then you have cold. Then it means basically it is a stable or a stationary front where you have this alternation and a balance here. But there is something which is called occluded front as well, right? And then what you have, frontolysis as well, and then frontogenesis as well. So this is what happens, that these three fronts, cold front, warm front and stationary front and occluded front, that is the fourth one, these are the major fronts and they actually lead us to this frontolysis and frontogenesis that we see, right? So let's understand what are these fronts all about and their characteristics. So let's begin with the first one, which is the stable one, the stationary front. So when surface position of a front does not change, this is very simple, it does not change. Basically means what? When two air masses are unable to push against each other. So there is a balance of the force, right? This is a stationary force. So this is important. The wind motion on both sides of the front is parallel to the front. That is important. And warm or cold front stops moving. So the name says stationary front. That is very simple to understand, I hope. Then, now it is not just simple to understand the characteristic of the front without knowing the weather that it accompanies. So what kind of weather will it be there? Remember, cool air, warm air, and they are now balanced. So what is happening here? Remember, This is where cumulonimbus clouds are formed, and in details when we understand what is this cumulonimbus cloud in the cloud classification that is going to come in the lectures to come, there will we understand this in detail. So remember what is happening, this frontal action. The overrunning of warm air along such front causes frontal precipitation. Now remember, this is this zone. In this zone, warm air is there, cold air is there, cool air is actually going subsiding, warm air is actually here, but this is the line, and along this line, when warm and cold meet, what happens to the warm air? It picks moisture and it forms cloud, which is called frontal precipitation, which gives us frontal rainfall. So cyclones migrating along a stationary front can dump heavy amounts of precipitation. So cumulonimbus cloud is giving you heavy amount of precipitation along this line, along this particular boundary that we say. And that is why lots of flooding happens in the area where you have this kind of stationary front. That is why it is important to remember. Now, let's understand this cold front. So, a front that is formed when a cold air mass replaces a warm. Now, here who's the winner? Simple. When cold air mass is replacing, it means this is the winner. This is the winner of the war between cold and warm. So, that is called cold front. In such a situation, the transition zone between the two is called a cold front. Cold front moves up to twice as quickly as warm front. Now, remember, this is very interesting. Now cold front, you see here, this cold front is actually moving like this, right? It is subsiding down. This is what is a cold front here, right? And warm front is this. This is moving faster. So in cold front situation, remember this is a polar region situation, automatically you understand by the cold front. So here this movement is twice as faster to dominate. So if this dominates, it means it has a faster rate. It has a velocity which is more, twice than the warmer front. Right? So here frontolysis starts happening when the warm air mass is completely uplifted by the cold air mass. So this cold air mass goes inside completely and the warm air is uplifted completely. So here also you find these thunderstorms and showers happening in the troposphere, in the lower troposphere largely. What you see? 5 kilometers. So this area also has these thunderstorms. So this is why cold front is the winner here because of the velocity which is almost twice the velocity of the warm front air. So what you see here is the weather along a cone front. Thunderstorms will happen, and most of the tornadoes in US, what you see is happening because of this particular sharper decrease in temperature. And we have also learned this factor, remember where? In the atmospheric instability. That is important, right? So these sharp changes in the upper atmosphere, suddenly there is a fall with high speed. So this makes tornadoes. That is important to remember in cold front. Now let's understand this warm front. So remember, it is a sloping frontal surface. As warm air tends to rise up, so there is a slope here. Remember the 0 to 5 kilometers. This is a slope that you see here, and which has an active movement of warm air over the cold air, as we know. So warm air mass is too weak to beat the cold air. Remember, warm air is actually dissipated air. It has molecules which are far away from each other, right? So warm air does not have much of strength like a cold air, which is dense, right? So what happens? Frontolysis, that is front dissipation, begin when warm air masses make way for cold air masses. So what is happening at this angle? It is making this space for cold air mass to come inside, right? When the warm air mass completely sits over the cold air mass, so remember what will happen? The warm air will be the upper air and completely this lower layer will be cold air. This is when the warm front and cold front is clearly established, as we know, right? So this is important to understand. So as you understand, what is the weather condition along this warm front? As the warm air moves up the slope, what happens? If it is moving up, then at a particular point, it reaches a dew point, it condenses and causes precipitation, but not like the cold front. The temperature and wind direction changes gradually. That is important because it is weaker, right? Such fronts cause moderate to gentle precipitation only. That is important over a larger area in several hours. So remember, gentler rainfall for several hours is going to happen. Elongated structure is going to happen. That is important in terms of extratropical cyclone when we understand, right? It is that particular cyclone. Remember, western disturbances, as we know, it is there for a longer time period, but precipitation is not heavy as in tropical, right? It is slow precipitation, but for a long time because it is gradual in nature. Right? So passage of warm front is marked by rise in temperature, pressure and change in the weather condition that we see. Right? So this is important about the warm front and weather along that warm front. So now the fourth one is the occluded front. And remember, the word is occlusion, and occlusion basically means what? Obstruction or completely shutting down. obstructing something, right? That is where you say shut up. That is where Latin word is occlus. So occlusion basically means an obstruction. So let's understand. Occlusion is a process by which cold front of a rotating low pressure system catches up with warm front. So cold front of a rotating low pressure system. This rotation is happening of this low pressure system, and it has a cold front which is there and also warm front which is there. So what happens here? The rotating low pressure system catches up the warm front so that warm air between them is forced upward. Now this warm air is forced upward. So remember this kind of action where this cold air pushes the warm air upward, right? That is important. So such a front is formed when cold air mass overtakes. Again, see, cold air is the winner. A warm air mass and undergoes that. That is important here. So that's why it is that cold air goes inside this and warm air is pushed upward. So this is when the frontolysis begins, when warm sector diminishes and cold air mass completely takes this warm sector on the ground, right? So what happens here? The lower ground surface is completely now cold and this portion is warm. So there is completely an obstruction. This lower area is now completely obstructed. This is called occluded front, completely shut. So this is what is important here. So how will the weather be along this kind of occlusion if it happens? Now remember, it will be different in different hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere if you look here. So weather along an occluded front is complex, because you see this is an action here. So mixture of cold front type and warm front type of weather. Such fronts are common in Western Europe basically. The formation of mid-latitude cyclones, which is called temperate cyclone also, extratropical cyclone also. So remember, this is cold front, warm front. Now it is coming inside gradually. You see here, this whirling action is being created anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. So what is happening? This cold front is taking over the ground and it is pushing the warm air up completely. So this is where a complete obstruction of the cold air and warm air is done. So warm air is completely in the upper part, right? And cold air is completely occupying the ground. So ground is cold, but warm air is going up, carrying the moisture. So what happens? The cloud formation also happens and it keeps raining for a longer duration of time. So this is what we say is extratropical cyclone on an occluded front, the obstructed front. What is obstructing? Here, the cold wind is completely obstructing the warm wind gradually. So this is important. So at last, let's clarify this through this table. So what we have learned, stationary front, no clear winner. Cold front, cold air mass is the winner. Warm front, the warm air mass picks up fight but fails to beat the cold air mass. So cold air mass again is the winner. And occluded front, what is there? Cold front plus warm front, double win for cold air mass. So it's a win-win situation. That is important here, right? So that's why cold front, warm front, occluded front are the best examples where we have already learned a phenomena in the previous lectures, that is inversion of temperature. So as you go up in the atmosphere, the normal lapse rate changes, remember, but when it is reversed, that is in the case of these frontal formations that we know. So where there is occlusion, where there is warming over cooling, cooling over warming, there are several changes on different fronts that we have learned. So inversion of temperature is a common phenomena in these three: cold, warm, occluded. That is important to remember. So now, when we have discussed the details on air fronts, its formation, its various types and associated weather conditions, in the sessions to come, we'll be talking more on humidity, cloud formation and several other topics of climatology. So keep watching, stay tuned and stay safe. All the best wishes.